by the Montana Television Network. Montana This Morning continues on Montana's News Leader.
With Friday's deadline looming, Washington lawmakers work to prevent a government shutdown. I'm John Schumo in New York, and I'll have that story.
A little closer to home ahead, learn more about the woman who was shot and wounded in an attack in Belgrade that left another woman dead, plus find out how you can help the family.
Good morning and welcome to your Wednesday. Missy O'Malley and Chet Lehman with you here. Matt Elwell will have our forecast in just a moment. Our top story for you now. As the clock ticks closer to Friday's government shutdown, emotions are running high in Washington.
In fact, overnight, a vague word, the House conservatives are threatening to reject a plan GOP leaders have to prevent the government shutdown. CBS's John Schumo reports this morning from New York.
Lawmakers in Washington are working to strike a deal to avert a government shutdown. But with Friday's deadline approaching, the focus remains on finding common ground on immigration reform.
The only one that can allow a government shutdown is Donald Trump. And I don't know why he would humiliate the United States, humiliate himself, humiliate his party by having a government shutdown.
At issue, what to do about dreamers, immigrants who were brought to the United States illegally as children. Democrats are threatening to vote no on the budget without a deal on DACA protections. Complicating matters, President Trump's description of Haiti, El Salvador, and African nations as blank hole countries. Testifying before the Senate Judiciary Committee on Tuesday, the new Homeland Security Secretary, Kirstjen Nielsen, claimed she never heard Trump use the expression.
What was that strong language?
Let's see. Strong language, there was... apologies, I don't remember a specific word.
New Jersey Democrat Cory Booker accused Nielsen of being an enabler.
Your silence and your amnesia is complicity.
DACA supporters held a sit-in at Iowa Senator Chuck Grassley's office on Tuesday. With emotions running high and a deadline looming, the White House insists the president is committed to fixing immigration. John Schumo, CBS News, New York.
By the way, the White House, which hasn't fully disputed accounts of the president's use of that profanity, also says Mr. Trump has no intention of apologizing. 6:33 now. Time to shift gears into weather. What interesting mixed bag of temperatures out there right now.
It's all over the board, isn't it?
It is. You pick one. It's like the roulette wheel. You can just find a number you want out there.
A little bit of wind in a few areas, certainly pushing those temperatures up. And it's dealing with temperatures into the 20 single digits in Belgrade, 19 in Lewistown. We're basically dealing with some cool temperatures in West Yellowstone, sub-zero. Looks like the wind has been an issue at times this morning. It shouldn't be early on, but the wind does pick up later today. We have some thin to mid-level clouds trying to work their way through here. You see the high-level clouds trying to roll through here with these graphics. Expect these temperatures to hold right around the 30-degree mark for most of the day. We do have snow in the forecast. We'll talk about the timing of that, of course, coming up here in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Matt. Current time 6:34. It was Sunday, January 7th, when a house on Idaho Street in Belgrade was broken into and two women were shot.
35-year-old Lauren DeWise was killed. The other woman, 32-year-old Ashley Van Hemert, was severely injured and remains in the hospital. DN's Morgan Davies spoke with Van Hemert's sister to learn more about her and how the family has come together with hope and thankfulness that Van Hemert will still be alive.
After speaking with the injured victim, Ashley Van Hemert's sister, I learned that Ashley is still in critical condition, but her family believes that her strong personality will help her to continue battling for her life.
She's a small girl with a big personality, and she's just caring and always looking for a way to help others.
Ashley moved to Bozeman because of her love of the mountains and skiing. She combined that love with her passion for helping others.
You know, she did like the lessons for individuals with disabilities out at one of the mountains out there, and so she's just always looking for ways to give back.
Ashley is the oldest of 6, and her family was completely in shock when they learned that she was shot. But they all came together to help their sister, who has done so much for everyone else.
This is the stuff you hear about, and you just never really think it's going to happen to your family, but I would say we just all really came together, and we knew that we just kind of all hopped in a vehicle and knew we had to, be with her.
The Van Hemerts are a very spiritual family and are just asking for continuous prayers that Ashley will pull through.
we know that she has so many prayer warriors praying for her, and we truly, truly believe that God is working a miracle through her, and there's power in prayers.
DeVries also shared that Ashley has gone through surgeries for gunshot wounds and that she also has swelling of the brain. But again, they believe that her strong, fierce personality will help her hold on to life. Reporting in the studio, Morgan Davies, MTN News.
Now, Morgan tells us you can find a link to donate to help with Ashley's medical expenses on our websites, along with Facebook page that's giving updates on her condition.
In other news on your Wednesday morning, Montana State University has reached an agreement with the SAE fraternity. The fraternity will close its Bozeman chapter for the next 3 academic years. SAE has agreed to close its chapter in the fraternity house at 810 South 7th Avenue. Matt Cares, MSU Dean of Students, says that the agreement follows the incidents over the span of several years that endangered student health and safety. In another news, a Bozeman man appeared in justice court on Tuesday after allegedly running over his girlfriend's leg with his truck and fleeing with her child. 24-year-old Austin Flack is charged with criminal endangerment and assault with a weapon. According to court documents, Flack and his girlfriend had been drinking at a brewery in Bozeman. The woman's 3-year-old child was with them. As Flack was driving them home, the couple got into an argument, and Flack pushed his girlfriend out of the truck. She then attempted to get back in. Flack reportedly drove off, knocking her to the ground and running over her leg. The child was still in the truck at that time. His bail is set at $25,000, and he is to have no contact with the victim or her child.
In other headlines this morning, Gallatin County Commissioners are pursuing a new law and justice building, but Bozeman City Commissioners might be looking and going a different direction. Both the city and the county were working together to create a new Law and Justice Center building, but now the city may be having second thoughts. County commissioners say that if the city builds its own Law and Justice Center, residents could pay more taxes to fund the separate buildings. Now, with the Bozeman Police Department and the Gallatin County Sheriff's Office in separate facilities, the county says cooperation between the two might suffer. County commissioners say they hope the city will stick with the proposal to build a joint Law and Justice Center.
If they choose to stay with us, our plan is to construct with the city a law enforcement building for the Sheriff's Office as well as for the Police Department. If they decide that they're going to proceed down to Rouse and do just a city facility down there, which is their decision, then we likely will then begin planning very quickly to put together a court building that we've already designed, but to likely include law enforcement into that building.
Now we're told the decision from the Bozeman City Commissioners is expected to be announced on January 22nd.
And it's a jailbreak. More than 50 bison have escaped a holding facility just north of Yellowstone National Park at Stevens Creek. The Park Service says it's conducting a criminal investigation in the incident. The facility is used to capture, sort, test, and temporarily hold bison to make sure they're free of brucellosis. Now that the bison have mingled with untested animals in the wild, it could take another 2 years to guarantee that the bison are brucellosis free, and that would hold up as a planned transfer to animals of the Fort Peck Indian tribes. A temporary closure of the Stevens Creek administrative area was issued on Tuesday as the incident was being investigated.
Closer to home, Butte is unveiling a new tool to help combat Montana's prescription drug abuse epidemic. This new tool, called the incinerator, will safely dispose of drugs brought to local take-back boxes provided by law enforcement. Grand opening for the incinerator will take place at 10:30 on Thursday morning at the Montana Highway Patrol garage located on Wynn Avenue. Also in Butte, people will get a chance to learn how to use a new machine that will be used into the just opened parking garage in Uptown. Touchscreen machine will give people who park in the new garage a convenient way to pay for their parking space and record the amount of time they plan to park in the garage. Payment machine is supposed to be very user-friendly.
I think it's pretty easy. So we installed these last March at Washington State University, and they had no instructions out there, and we just watched people go right up to it. They looked at the screen, they watched the instructions, and they were able to use it.
The machine will be set up in the courthouse rotunda near the Parking Commission office for those who want to get familiar with it and begin practicing using it without actually having to put any money in it yet.
And those first 2 months are free.
Going to be free.
I love that.
Should be opening by the end of the month, the parking garage itself.
Much needed.
Absolutely.
Always a good thing to have a little cover too in those winter months.
For sure.
Not a bad plan. Stay with us. When Montana This Morning returns, we're finding out more details about the religious Southern California couple who imprisoned their 13 children in their suburban home. Viewer warning, disturbing details ahead.
But first, here's John Dickerson with a look at your headlines at 7 on CBS This Morning.
Good morning. Ahead on CBS This Morning, we're tracking the winter storm creating a travel mess for millions of Americans. And Ann Curry is in Studio 57 for her first TV interview since leaving NBC. How her family history played a role in her newest TV project. We'll also get her view on the Me Too movement. See you at 7.